Yeah, so I don't really record things ever, but I figured I might as well give it a shot since I'm unemployed and hanging in my parents' basement. What I'm doing is I have this Roswell 109 something brown Cherry MX keyboard, and I bought it because I wanted to get a split keyboard with MX brown switches that was not like $200. So I'm going through the painstaking process of removing every single switch on this thing, and there are so many. So yeah, that's a half functional board, and then the rest of it should be fine because I didn't mess with anything over there. And yeah, now I'll just be able to cut the back case in half, slap everything together, and maybe 3D print something in the middle so it's not quite this. So I'm going through the process of reattaching the switches. I tried the S1 and it was working, and now I just gotta do the others. I'm gonna start with this side, I'm gonna move to that side. Yep, it's slow, but this part's kind of fun. It's kind of a pain to take them all apart, but putting it back together isn't the worst thing in the world. Well, it's about 2:30 in the morning, and I got all these switches back on. Mostly, forgot one. Well, I'll get that tomorrow. But yeah, it all works. I just gotta fold over the wires underneath the chassis just so none of the connections get crossed and it's not pulling on the wire, but this will be tomorrow. So, the left side. Functional, clicky. Spacebar even works. That was kind of the part I was worried most about. I gotta find the keycaps for these. A bunch of the LEDs don't work anymore, but that's kind of fun. I never really cared too much about backlighting. I'll just get some better keycaps in the future. Now just the process of whichever keys I didn't break, which I'm going to focus first on the typing portion and then the rest. Eventually I'm going to have to get a couple switches to replace the ones that I broke, but we're very, 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 very close to a functional keyboard. And now the task of getting all these soldered into place. Here we go.
Small business accounting software.
Well, I've gotten a majority of the keys back in, and so this side is pretty much done. I don't know where I put my 4 key, but all the other ones are in there, and this is very clicky and wonderful and working and fantastic, and I love it, and it's awesome, and I have a split keyboard. The only issue is basically so keyboards work on kind of a matrix that diodes and shit that go back into the there's a little microcontroller in here that just sort of reads what keys are being clicked and when. And there's an issue with the keys that go along this part. And there's the 6th key there too. But yeah, this entire line is dead. And because it's all surface mount parts and tiny and awful, I'm having trouble getting it repaired. So I went to TechKeys and I just got one of those little microcontroller 6-button programmable things. And I'm just gonna basically cut the traces to this that go to this microcontroller inside the keyboard. And I'm just gonna attach it to that, with the added benefit of I'm not gonna have to take this apart because I put it together a little bit too eagerly and forgot to leave 2 wires coming out for the spacebar. So I'll be able to have a second microcontroller kind of thing with the spacebar there, and you know, the other buttons with the extra leads just going off into doing their own thing in there. So it'll fill the gaps in the keyboard that need to be filled, and I'll get an extra macro button just kind of next to the keyboard should I want it. I just wanted to commemorate the close to final assembly. So left side completely functional. Right side, this row is still dead, but I bought one of these little PCB they're just a little PCB that can hold up to 6 switches. And I was trying to figure out how I would add a second spacebar so I can have one on the right and one on the left. So this is sort of the best of both worlds. It fills in the couple dead spots by having a separate microcontroller control the N, H, Y, 6, and F6 keys. And then I also have one extra space for a spacebar. And I just had to buy one extra 10-pack of Cherry MX switches to sort of take place of the ones that I killed. But yeah, we're in business. But I did it. I made a split keyboard. And that's it. I managed to put everything together. I added this little cable management thing in between the 2 sides of the board so there's not just a ton of cables going everywhere. I mounted the little board for the second microcontroller to a little 3D printed piece that's just hot glued to the main body. And I've 3D printed my own little button there too that I need to repaint because it's a little weird right now. I dipped it in acetone so it's a little stronger, but it's just needs to get spruced up a little bit in comparison to the rest of the board. But yeah, I did it. I'm pretty surprised this actually worked, and I got the split keyboard that I wanted for a lot less money and a lot more effort. So that does it for this project, and thank you for watching. I have a couple more projects coming down the line, and as you saw under my desk, the next one's going to be fun. I make a million mistakes, sure that I'll be around for you. Dear Theodosia, what to say to you?